Hey, welcome back. It's your man Wise. Today, I got a great show for you. We're checking out another video from our guy, Doug in Exile. Trump starts appeal against Letitia James. You know they are throwing everything and their mama at Donald Trump, trying to bring him down, but he is not folding. He is not folding. We know Letitia James is George Soros back, along with Alvin Bragg and a whole host of others out there, and they're gunning for him. But I know you guys are out there praying. The prayer warriors all across the country are, and that's why these cases, they are crumbling from the inside out. This case is going nowhere. Before we get into the video, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Drop me a comment down below. Appreciate all the love and support. AskWiseToday@gmail.com is the best way to get a hold of me.
Official Trump has appealed his New York decision. That is the one that Letitia James brought under Judge Engoron without a trial. And they charged him for exaggerating his property value. And they charged him like $350 million, ends up being $400 million. There was a question whether if Trump could raise the bond or whatever. I got to tell you, there's so many articles that lie about Trump that I can't even read them here. So I'm doing a lot of the finding.
You know what's sad? There's a lack of conservative, truthful newspapers, blogs. There is just a shortage. It's unfortunate. If you go and do some research on top 100 conservative blogs, majority of them you've never heard of before. I'd say once they get past the top 20, you've never heard of them before. The liberals have the media space on lock. We have to do something about this. We have to.
The most trustworthy source, even if that source is from Democrat institutions like the Associated Press. So welcome to Doug in Exile. That's part of my job, is to bring you the news that you can trust, that brings good news about Trump. Here's a list of the 3 headlines that just blew up this morning. This is from 2 hours ago. AP News, this is one of our articles. I won't read that one. So WBAL TV, Donald Trump.
Real fast, I'm sorry. The 464 million, is that the 353 plus the interest? Is that what that is?
Appeals $454 million judgment in New York civil fraud case. The Daily Beast, Trump officially appeals $464 million bank fraud judgment. Okay, let's get to that AP Associated Press article. Donald Trump appeals $454 million judgment in New York civil fraud case. I'm just going to kind of scan this article and find the big reasons and news behind everything. New York, Donald Trump has appealed his $454 million New York civil fraud judgment, challenging the judge's finding that he lied about his wealth and he grew his real estate empire that launched him to stardom and the presidency. The former president's lawyers filed notices of appeal Monday, that's today, asking the state's mid-level appeals court to overturn Judge Arthur Engoron's February 16th verdict in Attorney General Letitia James's lawsuit and
Latrasha, I like that. I hadn't heard that one before. All right, Doug.
reverse staggering penalties that threaten to wipe out Trump's cash reserves. Trump's lawyers wrote in court papers that they're asking the appeals court to decide whether Engoron, quote, committed errors of law and or fact, and whether he abused his discretion or, quote, acted in excess of his jurisdiction. They're just going to ask this mid-level appeals court in New York going, are you sure Engoron did something legal? Now, Trump's appeal won't automatically halt enforcement of the judgment. The Republican presidential frontrunner had until March 25th to secure what's known as a stay, a legal mechanism pausing collection while he appeals. Trump would receive an automatic stay if he puts up the money, the $400 million, assets, or an appeal bond covering what he owes. Trump's lawyers could also ask.
They're literally trying to bankrupt this guy. These people are evil, man. $400 million on a situation where no one lost money, no one was hurt. This is insane, man. It makes absolutely no sense.
The appeals court to grant a stay without obtaining a bond or with a bond for a lower amount. So there's all these different options he has. They didn't tell us which one he did. We'll get to that later in the article. Trump's lawyers did not immediately respond to a reporter's questions Monday, asked if he had posted an appeal bond or if he was in the process of securing one. So I think he's probably in the process of getting one. That is, how much will a bank loan him that $400 million for? How little does he have to actually pay? Does he have to put up? Like, can he put up $25 million and have the bank back him up for $400 million, right? How good is his money? In a statement issued through a spokesman, Trump lawyer Alina Habba addressed only the appeal itself, saying, quote, "We trust that the appellate division will overturn this egregious fine and take the necessary steps to restore the public faith in New York's legal system." That's kind of generic boilerplate stuff, but I'm happy that she's saying it. Now, here's one benefit to Trump's appeal. Not so much that he gets to reverse his judgment, but listen. The appeal ensures that the legal fight over Trump's business practices will persist into the thick of the presidential primary season. See, he can campaign on this and likely beyond as he tries to clinch the Republican presidential nomination in his quest to retake the White House. So he could become president, which helps protect him from some of this stuff. Trump maintains that he is worth several billion dollars and testified last year that he had about $400 million in cash, in addition to properties and other investments. Letitia James, a Democrat, told ABC News that if Trump is unable to pay, she will seek to seize some of his assets. Trump doesn't need her to seize them. He can sell his assets and just hand her them.
He wouldn't even have to sell them. All he would have to do is put an asset up as collateral, take a loan off of it of some sort, go through this process. Once the process has been resolved, he gets his money back, he pays said loan off, and he moves on about his life. That lady, she really was in that interview, she really was just trying to embarrass him as much as she could. I tell you, man, these people are evil. They are willing to do anything for power. It's crazy.
Money. Okay. He's good for $400 million. He could just what he has in Trump apartments in some New York property. He could sell a few of them and pay it off. Trump's lawyer.
But no one wants to put that type of cash up in an escrow somewhere where it's not making any money. If he has $400,000 in cash, even if it's in a savings account, I'm sure it's a high yield savings account where he's, getting 10, 15% off that bread. Why would you want to put your own money up in a stagnant escrow account while you go through this appeals? He'd be better off just taking a loan on one of the buildings or one of the assets that he has, or a few of the assets that he has, grab that daggone money. Hey, you don't have to worry about taxes or anything along those lines because it's a loan. And then go through this process. Once he gets acquitted of all of these things, these fines and all of this goes away, pays that bread off, goes on about his business. Simple as that.
Christopher Keiss said after the verdict that the former president was confident the appeals court, quote, "will ultimately correct the innumerable and catastrophic errors made by a trial court untethered to the law or to reality," unquote. If the decision stands, Habba said, quote, "it will serve as a signal to every single American that New York is no longer open for business," unquote. That is what's at stake with this particular payment, is New York's reputation in the entire, not just our country, but the entire world. New York.
Absolutely. New York has investors all around the world. If this case stands, New York as we once know it is no more. They've already lost 160 businesses. There's already $1 trillion in tax revenue that's gone. They're literally trying to sink the city by this case. Governor Hochul, she better get in front of this She tried to make it seem like, oh, this is a one-off. No one will look at this as a one-off. Anybody that's worth any type of money, that does any type of serious investing, they're not going to look at this as a one-off. You can't do business in the city or state of New York if a case like this stands. You just can't. New York will be off limits, and at that point, it will become the socialist state that they would like it to come, because they're not going to have a choice. Businesses are already leaving. A multitude of other businesses are going to leave. They don't have any additional tax revenue coming in, which means they're going to try to tax the heck out of the poor people that are there. It's going to be a mess. New York, as we want to know it, I mean, it's already gone downhill tremendously, but New York, as we want to know it, as a bustling metropolis, business, Wall Street, so forth and so on, man, that will come to a screeching halt quickly if this case was to be upheld.
New York will be seen as a politicized, political state. If you're in the wrong party and you own a business in New York, you better watch out if you're not paying off Engoron and Letitia James, because they're coming for you. If Trump were to pay the penalty at this stage, instead of obtaining a stay, the money would be held in a court escrow account while the appeal plays out, says the Associated Press. If the court overturns the verdict, the money would be returned to Trump. So even if he puts the money up and he gets his appeal, the money can still come back to him. The appellate division could either uphold Engoron's verdict, reduce or modify the penalty, or overturn the decision entirely. If Trump is unsuccessful at the appellate division, he can ask the state's highest court, because he's in the mid-level court right now, the Court of Appeals, to consider taking the case. Then I found this little detail over at The Hill on their coverage of the same story. The judge also expanded the authority of an independent monitor to oversee the Trump organization's finances and imposed fines against Trump's sons and top company executives. So the city of New York also installed a overseer into Trump's company to make sure it's compliant. So a snitch, a weirdo, a rat, a government operative. So I'll keep you guys posted on this one. I do hope it gets overturned on appeal. I also hope it just gets delayed until Trump gets elected as president, because really, I think New York's in trouble, but the whole country's in trouble if Trump doesn't become president. That's the big picture of this whole thing. Let me know in the comments below, will New York survive if this judgment stands, number one, and will America survive if Biden wins another presidency? I'm Doug in exile.
Appreciate you, Doug. Wow, those are some good questions. I would definitely say that if for whatever reason Joe Biden wins again, if I don't even want to think about what this country would be under another 4 years of the Biden administration. I don't even know if he would make it the 4 years. And then we're stuck with Kamala. Oh my gosh, dude, that would be a nightmare. The United States as we know it would be pretty much toast. They'll probably add in another 30 or 40 million illegals. And yeah, it'd be just one step closer to what their ultimate goal is, which is a, new world order of some sort. And man, we'd be in trouble. Scary. Scary. Let me know what you guys think, man. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. Drop me a comment down below. Keep God first in your life. America first. And I'll catch up with you guys next time. Peace.